Indiana Caverns, it's amazing, but it seems like these caverns keep more discoveries, bigger, better. Indiana Caverns, it can also be educational, fun, all of that at the same time, and also probably nice and cool, unlike it's getting outside here. With me now is Gary Roberson. He's the CEO of Indiana Caverns. Welcome back, Gary.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. And Rand, I want to make sure I pronounce this right. Is it Hazlett?
Hazlett, yes.
Hazlett, welcome. Welcome, you guys. Good to see you both. Now, I want to see if I can pronounce this right. I'm familiar with splunking, but you're with the Indiana Speleological Survey?
That's correct.
Not too bad?
Not too bad.
I'm trying to pronounce it right. All right. Lots of good news, Gary. If you would, tell us a little bit about Indiana Caverns. The fact that it keeps getting longer, bigger, more discoveries, that's pretty exciting because now you're getting national interest.
That's right. Indiana Caverns is a part of the Binkley's Cave system, and I've been exploring in it for 48 years, and it just keeps growing. I wrote a book on it in 2009 and reinvigorated the project. We brought a lot of new people in, and the cave has increased in length from 22 miles to over 40 miles with our latest discovery.
Yeah, from what I understand, are you moving into 8th place now? Is that right, as far as the longest caves in the country?
And we got about a couple hundred more feet to survey. Probably the next survey trip that we have, we'll go into 8th place, right?
And the fact that you're still privately owned, that's a little unusual, is it not?
Well, it is for big caves. The longest caves in the United States are mostly owned by the federal government, but the Binkley Cave system could eventually be the longest cave not owned by the government in the United States.
I can tell that both of you are very passionate. I'm curious, what kind of folks are drawn to caves and the history of caves and splunking and discovering new passages and all that? What really attracts you?
Well, the cavers, that's what we call ourselves as cavers. I think it's people who have a passion for adventure. They've probably grown up when they were kids being outdoors, and it's one of the few places where you can go somewhere where nobody's ever been before. You know, almost all the mountains been climbed and everything, but Rand here the other weekend saw a mile and a half of cave that nobody had ever been in before.
That's got to be exciting for you, Rand. And you mentioned, I was looking over my notes, Gary, and you said that Rand can go on routes that you can no longer go on. In other words, it takes someone a little bit younger.
That's true.
Well, that's honest, and I'm the same. I'd be doing the same. Hey, Rand, I'm handing it off to you. Rand, tell me, how challenging is it for folks, especially when you're discovering new territory?
Well, it's exceptionally challenging. As challenging as you can handle. In fact, there's more cave there than you can possibly see. The last cave trip that we went on was 17 hours in duration, and in fact, one way it was over a half mile of crawling just to get back to the area we were. So it was 5 hours to what we call the frontier, where we were actually into a newly discovered river, one of the largest rivers in the entire cave system. And also on that river, on that trip, we found 2 rooms, one of which is probably, if not the largest, second largest in the entire 40-mile-plus cave system.
Wow.
So it challenges all your physical and mental abilities.
I would think so. And now for the tourists, the casual tourist like myself, it's nothing but fun, folks, and very safe. But for someone like you, Rand, tell me, I'm assuming you, first of all, you cannot be claustrophobic.
I'm what they call a project caver, so we want to see the new cave. We want to go where people haven't been gone before. You know, it's one of the few things where you can go and have a National Geographic level experience and sleep in your own bed, or as this case was, the recliner that night. So that's what we like to do.
What's one of the most exciting? It can be harrowing. It can be an adrenaline rush. Whatever. What's one of your most memorable little endeavors when you were down below the earth there?
Well, I think the discovery of this area, what led up to it was, for me, one of my personal best push, which was part of a 1,700-foot-long crawlway, and it went down to a low airspace, which had about 4 inches of airspace, what we call an ear dipper, and I pushed ahead by myself for nearly 900 feet. You know, you could feel air coming in your face, so you knew that there was passage in front of you. That's one of the indicators. But it was water, so I basically slogged ahead, belly crawling, military crawling for 900 feet, and then opened up into another new river passage. You know, and all of a sudden we knew we had something that blew the whole cave system.
Have you ever felt like your life was in danger? Ever?
Absolutely, but that's kind of part of it. You know, and you have to gauge how much you want to put yourself at risk. But sure.
Okay, you're not Totally stable, but I like you. I'm kidding. Good for you. I mean, we need folks like you to continue to, you know, like you said, discover more of these caves and make more of this accessible to the average Joe like me. Okay, Gary, tell me a little bit about the experience for those who are looking for a summer experience with the kids. Not only educational, but something that they will be fascinated. You mentioned when you're kids, this is something you're really attracted to, is something new. What can they experience at Indiana Caverns, and how do they do it?
Well, we're just 30 miles from downtown Louisville, so you can be there in a half an hour. And our tour has a great variety of experiences for the family. We have a lot of Ice Age bones, and the young kids are just fascinated by rocks and Ice Age animals these days. We've got waterfalls. We have a boat ride through the cave. Plus, we have some of the beautiful formations. And so it's just a whole variety of experiences. It's something that every family wants to take their kids on when they're younger. It's kind of a rite of passage growing up to go in some caves.
Look at this beautiful footage of Indiana Caverns. You guys have really gone to great lengths to make it a great experience for folks. I can see that. That looks beautiful. I cannot imagine. Boat rides? Now, how does that work? Help me out.
Well, we had to take the boats in on a zip line, so it was quite a deal. I wrote a book called The Longest Year about the year it took us to develop it. It was something that Rand was a part of that, and I don't think either one of us were anxious to do it again tomorrow, but we're glad we did it, you know.
Well, with all these new discoveries at Indiana Caverns, is there an end to it? Do you see, Rand, where you're going, okay, I think we've discovered all of this cave? Or
I think it's wide open. I think that there's probably at least 100 miles of cave in the whole cave system. I mean, it's absolutely a world-class cave system, and I think that that's what we're proving here, and that's what excites us cavers, you know, is to find that. So I don't think that there'll be an end to it in my lifetime. I think that there'll be generations ahead of us finding caves still. What kind
of animals can you encounter below the earth like that? Because you're looking at probably literally total darkness, very little oxygen. What kind of wildlife can survive down below the earth like that?
Blind crayfish, blind fish. There's a variety of troglodytic life, you know, that are different types of insects and insect-related things. Blind millipedes. There's bats, of course. You know, so there's all sorts of different things. In fact, the biodiversity in Binkley's cave system was identified as one of the best, top-rated ones in the country.
Wow!
And mostly little things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's interesting in itself. Gary, what about rock formations and different? What will we see?
Well, you'll see a lot of stalactites and stalagmites. We have a lot of flowstone in the cave, and a lot of dripping water, big rooms, just a variety of different experiences. Is that what people say? Man, we were just down there an hour and 20 minutes, but we saw so many different things that's what they really appeals to them.
And nice and cool.
It's always 57, warm in January and cool in July.
And although the adrenaline junkie over here, Rand, it's very safe for tourists. I don't want to give the wrong impression. We're not going to ask you to go splunking with Rand.
They won't be doing it in crawls, no.
No, but what's interesting about it is when you're walking along the trails there, you can look off 5 feet from where you are, and there's places where nobody's ever set foot. So this cave is in a very natural condition. People say they feel like they're exploring it, even though they're walking on a level walkway and have steps that are nice and handrails and everything.
All right, we're going to put the information up for Indiana Caverns. And also, I tell you, where's your book available? This looks like a good read, The Longest Year. Where can they find this at?
Well, you can find it on Amazon, or you can buy it at Indiana Caverns.
All right, there's the numbers right there for the cave and the location. And check them out if you want more information, indianacaverns.com. Also, I want to encourage you right now, if you'd like to go visit the cave, third caller will win tickets. That's right, we have a pair of tickets. Third caller, 888-800-9283. If you're caller number 3, then you can win tickets to Indiana Caverns. Learn a little bit and have a whole lot of fun. A great summer memory. Rand, thank you very much. Gary, thank you very much. Fascinating stuff. Although you do have a problem. I don't. Just be safe. Just be safe. All right, we like to thank Indiana Caverns. And coming up, we've got more. Hey, if you like to get out in the yard and you